Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Gina Vadana and I'm an intentional photographer and videographer based in Berlin. Today, I want to present to you a mini guide into self-portraits, a practice that I love so much for the past 6 or more years. It is a practice that gave me so much confidence in myself, but also in my work with my clients. I learned so many skills and ways of posing, of capturing details that I actually discovered in my own self-portraits rather than taking pictures of another. If you're a photographer, or if you're someone passionate about photography, or if you're someone that really wants to dive into this practice of self-portraits, then this video is for you. This mini guide, I made it easy to understand so you can apply right now as we talk, as I take you through this process. And another surprise is that on my website, you can download this free mini guide and you can have it as well written with words and with images, so you can have everything in there. Throughout this mini guide, I hope that I will inspire and motivate you to start taking your own self-portraits as a way to connect with your body and with your creativity, but also as a way to develop skills in photography and in storytelling. So let's get started. This is a sensitive topic for the ones that don't have a professional camera. And so that's why I want to talk also about the people that only have iPhones, because this practice, I really want to be embraced by everyone. For sure, everyone that are watching right now are having a phone. Make sure to be at least a decent camera, so you can have some quality in there. Start today with taking pictures with yourself using your phone. And if this process will make you feel amazing and you feel like maybe it's time to invest in a new camera, then you're going to start doing your own research. I highly recommend at this step to not get frustrated if you don't have a professional camera, and don't let this to actually block your creative flow. So beside the camera, which we need is as well a tripod. And why I encourage you to have a tripod, which by the way you can find super cheap on Amazon or on your photography store. There are cheaper versions, but also more sturdy and more professional ones. It gives you practicality to have a tripod, and also ease, because whenever you find a place, maybe you're in nature and you cannot put your camera on the ground. I've done that so much. You can use your creativity and imagination and the stuff you have around in your house, to be honest. But a tripod can be handy in time. If you are developing this practice and you want to do it more often, you're going to see that a tripod is actually needed. Then one of our best friends that is very needed as well, it's a remote control. It's needed because you don't want to go back and forth all the time to press the button because you already set your camera on a self timer. So I have the flexibility and also the joy of the moment, instead of being all the time, oh my God, I need to go back and watch myself. So yeah, I think a remote control saved my time. The next step is a dear one to my heart. Why? Because it has this therapeutic effect on ourselves. You know, we are busy people and we live in fast times, and unless you consciously take time to pause and reflect, it will never happen. So let's say you are using tools in the morning when you start your day, tools as meditation or yoga, to tap into your body, to go inside, to embody all the juicy, calm, peaceful elements that you want to bring in your day so you can operate on a high level. And so in this practice, it's actually the same. It's an invitation to pause and take a break from all the noise and get inside. And this step is actually so beautiful. Why? Because you are intentionally take this time off to go into a creative process with yourself. And if you're a person that likes to write, I will actually encourage you to take a notebook and write your thoughts on how do I feel right now? Like literally, write that down. How do I feel right now? What's alive in me? What makes me happy or sad right now if you are experiencing these emotions? So this step, it's all about tapping into ourselves and connecting with that that deep inner self, the higher self that wants to connect with us, but sometimes we don't have time or attention or the listening. I encourage you to go into a little introspection journey right now and just, allow this moment with me for you to just be free into your writing. Write everything that you feel. And if something that comes into your field that is, oh, I know, I have this like feeling of expansion, then that's your word. That's your team. Then you chose your word. You know what I mean? It's all about connecting with you. It's actually a process with yourself. And that's why it's so powerful. And it takes time to cultivate this sense of self. That's why I'm so excited to share it with everyone, because it is a beautiful and meditative journey. On this note, there are two ways of starting the process of taking pictures of yourself. The first one, as I said, is tapping into yourself and connecting with your emotional body and whatever feels real and alive in you. That's the invitation to explore through self-portraits. But the second one is also a more fast and not that thoughtful, let's say, although everything is thoughtful because it comes from your own mind and your own spirit, but it might be that it's faster and it's just based on something. For example, a prop. You have something you just bought or you saw on your flower shop, you saw some beautiful purple flowers. I have some purple flowers and that's why it's very alive in me. But yeah, I don't know, you have a prop that really speaks to you and you want to create something with that prop. Then you have an idea. That's already something that you can start with. It can be a color that you love, and based on that color, you are just gonna build up the entire vision. The higher execution is step number 3. And here's where we are gonna start applying what we've just started. There are some points that I want to explain to you in this step number 3 in order for you to have a beautiful and easeful process. One of them is the location, because the location can emphasize a lot the message that you received in step number 2. I recommend you to start taking pictures of yourself in your home, undisturbed. Make sure that your flatmates or your beloved or whoever you are living with do not disturb you, to really take it seriously, to explore your home through different new eyes. The other place where you can photograph yourself is in nature. You can find a spot which is a little bit more secluded and not very in the eyes of everyone. So you have intimacy and you have the moments with yourself to explore this practice. Of course, it's not a rule. I mean, if you don't care about what other people would say, or if you don't care about other sites that are on you, that you can explore self-portrait photography literally anywhere. Now that we have the lightning and we have some knowledge about what to use and the location and we have the vision and we are feeling super pumped and charged to start taking pictures of ourselves, then now we just need to set up our tripod in front of the setup that you already decided and start taking pictures. Make sure that you are going to have focus. If you shoot with your phone, that's definitely not a problem because they usually have autofocus. If you're photographing yourself with a camera, then make sure you're going to have the focus. I am most of the times letting autofocus, and with my remote control, it activates itself and I don't have problems with my focus. But sometimes when I'm out in nature or I photograph somewhere where the frame, it's crowded with elements, then the camera doesn't know where to put the focus. And so in that moment, I decide to do manual focus. So make sure that the focus is all right before you actually start shooting. Why? Because you don't want to have crazy amount of pictures and you are in the right energy and you are creating amazing photos. And then when you are checking them, you're like, oh my God, but I'm not seeing, like, I don't have focus. What should I do now? Repeat. So now the actual fun begins. Once we have all this technical stuff in order, now we can begin to have fun with ourselves and start exploring, start posing, start experimenting. you know what? Just get awkward. I really feel like sometimes I have an idea and then I let myself be open and flexible, and the universe or me or my higher self just wants to communicate something different. And I'm so excited and I look so amazing. I was like, oh, yeah, actually, this was meant to happen today. And that's why I decided to take pictures of myself. There are these cute surprises that all the time happens in my self-portraits or even in my photo shoots with other women, other people that I'm photographing, my clients. They have an idea. I have an idea of my own self-portraits. They have an idea of the photo shoot. But actually, when we come together, there are different elements that influence this. It's influenced my mood, my state, the environment, her mood, her state, the entire, if it's a self-portrait, just the entire, energy and the alignment of the stars. And of course, if you have a very, very sharp vision, you know what you want, you envision already, you see this light that's coming from the back and you see yourself in your sight, you go, that's perfectly fine. You can actually go into that with more precision. But for people that, I'm more a flowy person, and I feel like sometimes I do have a very clear, precise, but I still stay open for whatever wants to come to the creative process. There are so many elements to take in consideration when this process is happening, because it's not just I'm doing it for 30 minutes. It's a longer process. And I allow, this time to soften and really actually understand, did I actually really wanted this, or this wanted to come out, this awkward pose right now. I'm channeling my inner goddess right now through this pose. Talking about poses, which is the next step, step number 5. In this execution stage, when you are actually in front of the camera and you apply all the things that you envision or you journaled or you were thinking about, is the poses, that will emphasize the message. I do love the natural staying or standing, whatever you choose, like, how do I feel comfortable right now, to put myself this question? How do I feel comfortable if I sit on this chair and I'm in the kitchen and drink my coffee in the morning and it's a Sunday, easy flowing vibe? And then, that's a way of taking it. That's another way of taking this, the poses, is actually going awkward and be creative and get explorative with your own body. And how is it possible to create a shape and shapes based on where you are? Maybe you are in nature and you create a shape with the rocks or whatever, find inspiration in the moment as well. Self-portrait is also, it's an intentional time that you actually set aside for you to stage something. So I want to emphasize that as well, is because it's a stage situation. Like these pictures that I took of myself when I was so much into my inner world, and I felt like everything needed to slow down in my life because I felt overwhelmed with all the happenings. And then I arrived in this beautiful place in nature and I saw this dock, and I sat near the lake on the dock, and all I felt was this inner stillness and peace. And the pose is also very introspective. I am very inside my inner world. Then when I take close-ups of my faces, I think this is a helpful one, is pay attention to your hands. I really feel like hands can be very helpful when you take pictures of your face, when you take, close-ups, portraits. You can use your face to add more elegance and mystery. I find this topic of photography a sensitive one for some people. Why? Because it really requires for you to be seen. And whenever, it's a camera in your face, it requires for you to let your guards down. It's you being seen, captured, witnessed right now. Whenever the inner critique, which we all have it inside, that little voice from here that starts saying, hey, oh, look at me, how I look. Oh my God, I hate myself. Look at my face. Oh, this profile. Oh, horrible. Instead of giving too much power to your inner critique, I actually invite you to make space and show love and compassion to that voice, because that voice is actually you, that is still you. It's you that you've never been heard. Whenever you were talking with yourself when you were a kid, and you said all these things, and maybe you didn't have the support outside, you needed to give that support to yourself. But of course, at that age, we are not prepared. We don't know. And so I really find this practice, or through this longer practice in which we just facing ourselves, is an opportunity to actually go deeper into our own insecurities and what is there, something that's blocking me for me actually expressing myself fully. And yeah, sometimes things happen. I cried so many times on my self-portrait because I realized how much useless hate I was putting on my body. I worked a lot with myself through self-portraits because I was witnessing myself. I was witnessing whenever I was insecure. Even now, when I'm taking pictures of myself, I know this is my best side and this is not my best side, like my good side, you know. Some people are having that awareness, but there are definitely people that they don't care about this. But obviously, like, you know, like I'm talking about people that are really interested about this topic, otherwise you wouldn't be until this point. So yeah, I'm talking about you. So if you had moments in which you struggled with your self appearance, with your self confidence, with you really feeling your body or really accepting your body, I really feel this practice could be a therapeutic one for you, you know. In time, by doing all this practices, by doing this practice all the time, you're gonna activate this inner creatrix vibe mode, creator, creatrix, in which you're going to feel so confident. And then there are layers and layers in which you can go deeper and deeper within yourself through this process of creativity and self-exploration. One last thing on this step is that I highly recommend this practice to anyone. I don't care if you studied photography or not, because I didn't study and this was very helpful for me. And so I really don't want you to put yourself down and feel that you're not proper here, or that you need to have some knowledge in the back. It's more a feeling. And this is the way I teach as well, this practice. And in general, in my life, I really believe that we are all creators. And, you know, there are some technical stuff that we can, you know, help us improve our skill. But in the end, it's you bringing your unique expression to the world through different mediums. One of the mediums is photography. And as long as you have a camera, an eye, and a vision, that anyone can do it. And so I really wanted to emphasize this, that is really not about being crazy good at photography. It's about you exploring this practice as a way to connect with yourself. This is a step that I love because I'm a very visual person and I love to go through the process of watching my material and play some nice music and just, you know, go into these daydreaming vibes and then choose my favorite picture and then start editing. And the editing itself, it's a process. And I won't go super deep into this, more about this later. If you have a phone, I have one app that I'm always using, which is Snapseed. And Snapseed is actually allowing you to create all this little small adjustment that will make your picture stand out. I can make it at some point, do a tutorial as well, how I'm using it. But this Snapseed is actually one of my favorite. I'm using it most of the times for so long. Then another one that I use is Prequel. I don't use it that often, but sometimes I like some crazy effects in there, and Lightroom on my phone. Then if you have a laptop, then you can use Photoshop if you want to go super into, you know, photography and editing. Photoshop is actually my bestie. I love it, you know, for face corrections, for smoothing the skin, and for all these like elements for the exposures, for light and shadows, endless possibilities of using Photoshop. I don't know it that well, but I know to use it, and I am on a level of creating even artworks. And yeah, I love Photoshop. But if you don't want to invest in Photoshop because it costs per month or per year, you can definitely have Lightroom, which is also super cool and it's easy to use. And Luminar Neo. This is a new one. I don't have so many words yet because I'm still testing it. But if I'm going to have more words about it, I'm going to let you know here. Thank you for being here today with me and for listening to my words about this self-portraits practice. I hope you got inspired and motivated to start your own practice. And if you've done that, if you followed all my steps and you've done it in real time with me, then I would very much so love to see your creations. You can tag my the Higher Self Portraits Instagram account or hashtag the Higher Self Portraits. And I would love, 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 love to see all your creations and the process that you've been through, and share with me what was, alive in you. And stay tuned for my upcoming online course. The Higher Self Portraits is my first signature program that I'm preparing. It will be an in-depth journey into this, and it will be full of nuggets and wisdom, everything that I learned along the way. And it will be, even more into embodying, integrating, knowing how to work with yourself, knowing how to tap into your own intuition, knowing, it's a spiritual practice as well in the end, because we are making space beyond what it is in our 3D reality and start envisioning parts of us, or channel different sides or different characters that are alive in us. For example, you have a very a joker side of you, and you want to tap more into that. That can be one of your archetype that you can go into. That's a long story, and I don't want now this video to go too long. If this resonated, and if this energy of self-portraits resonated with you, and if you feel excited about this, then stay tuned. Go to my website www.ginavadana.com, where you can download this mini guide where I show some examples and I go through these steps that I just described right now. Subscribe to my emailing list, and whenever the course will be ready, I'm gonna have early bird price in the beginning, and then the price will go up. Thank you so much. My name is Ginavadana. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we see us next time. Stay juicy.